Well, fears of a recession are growing across Europe. The European Union is seeing an unemployment rate of nearly 11%. The bloc is also facing an energy crisis compounded by the war in Ukraine and the banning of Russian oil and gas. Leaders are expected to address rising energy prices on Friday and a controversial tax proposal. So for more on this, let's bring in Rick Newman. He's a senior columnist for Yahoo Finance and the author of Rebounders, How Winners Pivot From Setback to Success. It's a good book, by the way. It's an interesting thing. We should have you on just to talk about that.
About the book, yeah.
So let's talk about this, though. Fears of a recession in Europe. How would a recession in Europe cause challenges for the economy here in the U.S.? And is this something that people should be concerned about here?
A European recession will not necessarily cause an American recession. The two economic blocs are obviously interrelated, but also independent. And the U.S. economy just happens to be large enough that we basically call the shots. Basically, what we decide what happens to us. So if there is a recession in Europe, it means that American exports to Europe will fall by a little bit because they'll just be buying less stuff. But our consumption economy is so large here in the United States that we're not going to get the same recession they're going to get. We have our own problems, if you will, but a European recession is not really one of them.
So why isn't the U.S. seeing the same recession flags as Europe, for example, right now? Is the United States doing something differently than the EU?
We are seeing a few signs of, I don't want to call it a recession yet. We are seeing signs of a slowdown. Obviously, we do have high inflation here in the United States. It's not as bad as it is in Europe, but inflation's still above 8%. We're starting to see a slowdown in the manufacturing economy. And some of these things are happening because the Federal Reserve wants these things to happen. I mean, we've talked before about these Federal Reserve rate hikes, which are meant to slow demand. So that is happening. But on the other hand, the biggest thing that we have going for us here in the United States is we are not captive to Russian energy. We have never been reliant upon Russian energy the way Europe is. So Europe is in a mad scramble right now to replace all the natural gas that Russia has stopped providing. They are getting the natural gas, but they're paying a lot of money for it. Natural gas prices in Europe are up by way more than they are here in the United States. And natural gas is extremely important because that's what provides electricity in much of Europe. So it's not just electricity for homes, it's electricity for factories and businesses. And when those costs go up by as much as they are in Europe, that is a major factor that's probably leading to recession there.
So let's talk about the UK economy. It's been a really bumpy ride for the newly minted government there. Prime Minister Liz Truss unveiled her financial plan to keep the UK afloat, and things went really badly. The pound plummeted. Markets went haywire. A key component of the plan that people were upset about had to do with cutting the tax rate for the highest earners, which, I mean, we hear that here all the time.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens here all the time. And the reaction is not the same, not to the point where you see a government reverse. So what are the factors at play now in the UK that made this so unpalatable?
One of them, I mean, so think about what you just said. We hear all the time. What we hear here are proposals to cut taxes for the wealthy or for whoever it might be. But the way it happens here, because it has to go through Congress and get passed as a law, is we talk about this for months and months and months, and everybody sees it coming. And so anytime there is a tax cut, and the last one we had was in 2017, the Trump tax cuts, the whole markets knew what was coming. It had been debated for months. There had been a draft plan. You know, one half of Congress passes the plan, then the other half of Congress is going to do the same plan or something different. So it was no surprise. It was a total surprise when they did this in the UK because they had just had a change of government and the new prime minister said, oh, we're just going to do this. Market said, whoops, didn't see that coming. And that's going to really mess up the fiscal situation for the United Kingdom. So you do not want to surprise financial markets with information that is going to change the value of things like government securities, which is what happened in the UK. And that's why they reversed it. So again, you know, we have a lot of problems here in the United States, but we're not doing so bad compared to the rest of the world.
So I guess then the next question is, are leaders in the European Union discussing next steps on addressing high cost of energy, specifically this proposed windfall profit on taxes on energy companies. This is a proposal that, because you're talking about several countries, not everybody's interests are aligned.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Which is an ongoing problem in Europe. You've got different governments make different decisions, but then you have the European Union, which is the currency group, the alliance, and they all kind of have to do things together. So again, this is a problem we don't really have in the United States. They have to do something to deal with high energy prices. The question is what? So this idea of a windfall tax on energy companies making higher profits, the idea is you take some of the money from that tax and you rebate it to consumers and help them cover the cost of more expensive energy. But it's not as if you just take the money from these companies and then the companies don't do anything at all. If you are basically saying energy companies are going to make less money, then they might generate less energy. And that would obviously make the problem worse. So what you have to do in Europe is a couple of things. Number one, you have to get people to conserve energy. And what some economists have said is when you just subsidize the cost of energy, you help people pay for it. You're not doing anything to conserve. So they have to figure out how to do that. And then they have to figure out how to help businesses and individuals and households with higher costs. And they're just going to be working at this all winter long, and it's just going to be a tough winter in Europe, I'm afraid.
All right, Rick Newman, always great to have you. Thank you so much, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. See you.